Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So today I did want to talk a little bit about why CIG has no reason to change anything they're really doing. They have a strong funding model here with their ships. I thought it prudent that we go ahead and pull out the newest one they just released, the RSI Meteor. It was based on that Mantis platform, right? So they already had the platform there, had to just tweak it up a little bit, add some like bespoke guns that we can see. And yeah, they were able to pump out a new ship and continue their funding. It has been their funding from the beginning. It's always been like that, and I see no reason for them to slow down. It's very successful, and they're going to keep going. Now, this event, this resource drive event, it's been a debacle, and everybody's been super upset about it. But you turn to the funding model and stuff like that, and you just don't see any sign of anything slowing down. So we cry with the keyboards, right? But not with the wallets. And I know everybody's against that because everybody talks about, hey, if we stop the funding, they're just going to close up shop. I don't think that's the case, guys. I mean, their money is getting funneled into Squadron 42. If you're a long-term backward, you know exactly where all the money's going. They're really working with some type of skeletons crew on, the PU right now, Star Citizen. So until Squadron 42 gets out, it's going to be like that. But is Squadron 42 right around the corner, a year away? Supposedly, no real information on whether it might get delayed or not again, but it's right around the corner for most of us, or so we think. So is that what driving this funding? People are trying to get into it. They're thinking this game's going to come around, and then maybe after Squadron 42 is released, everybody's going to jump. All the devs are going to jump on the persistent universe, and we're just, in the next 2 years, we're just going to have this amazing game. And honestly, I don't think that's what's going to happen. They've had such success with what they're doing. They're telling you where the money's going. You know where the money's going. They might not be telling us per se, but you know where the money's going. And people are still just, pocketbooks wide open on this game. So they're so successful. They've really not had too much of a dip in anything. So why? Why would they want to change? I can't tell you how many times, in my personal life with project controls and things like that, I've sat in meetings and listened to them talk and the way they think. And it's just not worth changing if it's not hurting the overall picture of Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So yeah, that's kind of my 2-cent TED talk on this, on why would they need to change anything they're doing? They're extremely successful. That's not to say in a year or two or something might happen where they might dip and have to make a change, but right now, guys, they're full force. I see no reason, and I don't think a normal person looking at this from like just a project or company standpoint would really need to change. I'm sure in their marketing department they have like a whole team of just nothing but analysts that analyze every bit of data that comes in and out, what's getting bought, how many of them are getting bought, what prices do the best, what ships do the best. I mean, anything like that. And that all dictates what the rest of the devs and the way the company is actually gonna go, the direction it's gonna go. But that's my 2 cents on that. But let's take a look at this funding, right? Like I said, there's proof of this. So let's jump over and take a look at this funding. So guys, just a quick peek of this. This is as of like 8/3/2025. I mean, you come down here and you can see, look at this orange line by itself, right? This is May. Look at this. They made 17% more this May than they did in the last May. I mean, this is you can see the difference. I mean, see the pink, all the pink back here. They're doing so well this year, even with all the issues, even with this event and everything. It seems like the community gets on and they just bang away on Spectrum and stuff, which half of that gets deleted by Mr. Knight Rider or whatever. But they get on there and they type their stories or articles or whatever you want to call it, posts about how much they hate it and why would CIG do this or why would CIG do that and why are they putting this event out when they know the elevators are broken. It doesn't matter, because no matter what gets typed, no matter how many videos get made talking about the event being so bad, that's not, I mean, you can't write a whole, paragraph and then turn around and buy the next ship that comes out. It just doesn't work like that. Why would they ever need to change with the way that it's going right now? I just don't see it until the community decides that, we want them to change and we, kind of like promote with our wallets and say, hey, we're not gonna buy any more ships as ship sell. But where does CIG get us? Where are they the best at? they're great at marketing. They're great at this FOMO. They're great at the, hey, this is a ship that's coming out and you're not going to get it for cheaper than it is this one-time sell. So if you want it for the cheapest price, here you go. And, it just sucks people in, and people want to play the CCU game. They're like, hey, here's our next sell. And they throw these two ships that make a great chain that give you like 20 or 30% off. And it's just become this, like the game within the game as far as, their funding model goes. It's a great funding model, and it has done really well from them. So again, why would they want to change, right? So guys, just a quick look at Spectrum here, we take a look at this and we just see all the posts, like I just need to let off steam, why haven't you all fixed the elevators? Most of the team is working on Squadron 42. This is something that has work to do. This would be feature work, in my opinion. This isn't really a bug fix because they've been broken since they first came in the game. So this to me is like something where they need to redo the elevators. And if they've talked about this, they talked about it when they were talking about just the transit system in general. And I think the elevators are probably a big part of that. So I expect this to get fixed and redone, but I think it's going to be a while. And then it's just constant, just, can you please stop putting everything behind Wicklow? Wicklow, they're trying stuff, they're trying new things, and to make the game fun, to make the game worth doing stuff for, where you can't just go to a shop where everything is not locked behind AUEC, and it's just one of those things where you just can't please everybody. Now, guys, do I think they've done a very good year? No, I don't. I think really the hopium that we all had, and I'm calling it hopium because I did have some, and that's my fault. For somebody who's been around since like 2013, I definitely should be one of those people that know better. And while the game does have some good points from stability, I don't seem to be crashing as much. The server errors are long. What about these 30Ks? Just a couple years ago, we were just constantly 30K, 30K. Then we had the 60K errors that we went through and the 16K errors. And it seems that they've cleaned a lot of that back end stuff up. And I think we all forget about that sometimes. Now, is this year what I hoped? No, absolutely not. I was hoping for something different. But hey, it's not over quite yet. 4.3 looks to be having something that I'm kind of have my eye on that I think is going to be pretty good, which is like more PvE zones where, you kind of got this armistice zone at these like ASD facilities. And I'm really really looking forward to jumping into that. I was about to say I'm kind of tired of those, but I'm looking forward to jumping into those missions. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a little bit of a change of pace. I think the whole thing is, guys, really, I think we're missing features, and the game feels a little lack in there because it just seems like all these missions that we're doing are just regurgitation of, other missions, like kind of like we're doing the same thing. And if you've been around this whole time, it's going to feel like that to any of you veterans out there. It's just going to feel like just a rehashed version of everything. But, they're doing what they can with, the features that they have, and it's going to take some time until we get, engineering in, until we get, all the fire stuff and being able to, eject oxygen and stuff out of certain compartments, and being able to do more with our loading the ships with ammo, because that way we don't have to go back to the station and all that kind of stuff, right? Being able to take ammo with us and being able to load them ourselves. They were just talked not too long ago about being able to change magazines on our ballistic weapons, or being able to have ammo in like an SCU container and the ship will automatically feed out of that or something, which I could see being really cool for a tier 0 implementation, being able to say, hey, if you have ammo in a container, your ship will pull from that, as the first tier, just until we get it to where we can do more manual type items, with what kind of like the way they did with like the armor and stuff, right? And hopefully they get that out of the game and get that working better too, because I think everybody's a little tired of the tier 0. Nothing feels like you really lose anything. You get to keep your armor unless the hackers are around, right? And you get your helmet or something stole off. That did happen to my concierge armor this last patch. I just was walking through the station and all of a sudden I didn't have a helmet on and it was gone, and that was the end of it. So I won't get it back till this 4.3 patch. But guys, seriously, what do you think? What do you think about Star Citizen in general? Why do you think they should change? If you think they should change all the things that they're doing and the development that they're doing, just make it make sense of why they should change when all the funding, when everybody's, they're kind of voting with their wallet as to why CIG is doing really good. Or do you think they've just really sucked everybody into this FOMO so deep that we're just all trying to keep up, and or people are just trying to keep up with it. But yeah, guys, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for coming to my little tech talk on this. I just don't see a reason for them to change, and would love to hear your thoughts on it. So as always, guys, thank you. I appreciate the support as always, and I'll see you on the next video.